Imagine this. It's your birthday. Balloons bob in the corner, a cake sits frosted and expectant on the table, and your friends are gathered, eyes bright with anticipation for the obligatory happy birthday serenade. For many, this scene sparks joy, a momentary pause to bask in the glow of being seen, celebrated, cherished. But what if, instead of leaning into the spotlight, you dimmed the lights, ordered takeout, and let the day slip by like any other Tuesday? What if the very idea of fanfare felt not just unnecessary, but intrusive, exhausting, even alienating? This isn't a rare quirk. Studies suggest that up to 1 in 5 adults grapples with birthday blues, a cocktail of sadness, apathy, or outright dread tied to the annual milestone. Yet when we zoom in on men, the pattern sharpens into something more profound, a quiet, deliberate indifference. Men who treat their birthdays like normal days aren't just opting out of parties. They're rejecting a cultural script that equates self-worth with spectacle. Why? In a world that often measures a man's value by his output, provider, protector, achiever, the unearned ritual of a birthday can feel like a mismatched reward, a spotlight on vulnerabilities they'd rather keep shadowed. This phenomenon matters because it peels back layers of modern masculinity. We're living in an era where emotional literacy is hailed as the new frontier for men, yet Stoicism lingers like an old habit. Understanding why a man might wave off cake and candles isn't about pathologizing preference. It's about decoding the invisible forces, psychological, cultural, evolutionary, that shape how we honor or ignore our own existence. It challenges us to ask, is this indifference a shield against disappointment, a badge of self-reliance, or a symptom of deeper disconnection? And for partners, friends, or the men themselves, it invites empathy. What if just another day is less about apathy and more about a profound, unspoken philosophy of living? Consider Alex, a 35-year-old software engineer I once knew, names changed for privacy. On his birthday, he'd log extra hours at work, hit the gym at dawn, and politely deflect invitations with a shrug. Nah, it's not a big deal. To outsiders, it screamed emotional unavailability. But dig deeper, and Alex's story echoed a common refrain. A childhood of overlooked milestones, a career demanding constant proof of worth, and a quiet terror that fanfare would only highlight what felt unaccomplished. His normal day wasn't dismissal. It was armor. In this exploration, we'll unpack the psychology behind this choice, not as a flaw, but as a lens into the human condition. Drawing from attachment theory, evolutionary psychology, and real voices from men who've shared their stories, we'll trace how societal expectations collide with personal wiring to birth this birthday neutrality. Why does it hit men harder? How does it ripple into relationships and self-perception? And ultimately, is there liberation in letting the calendar page turn unmarked? As we journey through these layers, one question lingers. If birthdays are society's way of saying you matter, what does it mean when a man says, I already know that, or I'm still figuring it out? The man who treats his birthday like a normal day isn't a monolith. He's a mosaic of influences, biological, experiential, cultural, that conspire to render the occasion moot. To grasp this, we must first ground ourselves in the psychological scaffolding, theories that explain not just aversion but ambivalence. At its core, this mindset often stems from a low need for celebration, a trait intertwined with personality models like the Big Five, where low extroversion and high conscientiousness dominate. Introverted men, in particular, recharge in solitude, viewing the social pyrotechnics of birthdays as energy drains rather than boosts. But it's more than Myers-Briggs shorthand. It's a dance between nature and nurture, where early experiences choreograph the steps. Let's start with attachment theory, John Bowlby's framework positing that our earliest bonds shape how we navigate intimacy and vulnerability. Men with avoidant attachment styles, often forged in homes where emotions were sidelined or self-reliance preached as gospel, are prime candidates for birthday indifference. These individuals learned early that depending on others invites risk, unmet expectations, performative affection, or outright abandonment. A birthday, with its implicit demand for external validation, becomes a minefield. Why set myself up for hurt? One man tweeted, capturing the sentiment. Men don't like celebrating their birthdays because they are afraid their feelings will be hurt if they have expectations and people don't meet them. Here, the normal day treatment isn't rejection of joy. It's preemptive self-protection, a quiet assertion of autonomy. Philosophically, this aligns with Stoicism, the ancient school revived in modern self-help. Think Marcus Aurelius. Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. For men steeped in this ethos, whether through Jordan Peterson podcasts or quiet introspection, birthdays smack of externality. Why tether happiness to a date when fulfillment flows from virtue and progress? Evolutionary psychology bolsters this. Men, wired as hunters and providers across millennia, tie self-esteem to competence, not commemoration. A birthday feels unearned, as one Medium essay puts it. Men don't like receiving perks or rewards they didn't work for. It's a celebration of existence, not exertion, the very antithesis of a merit-based worldview. Real-life vignettes illuminate these abstractions. Take the Reddit thread where users spill why they shun birthdays. One man recalls a childhood party derailed by parental divorce, the cake a bitter symbol of fractured family. Another, a veteran, associates the date with deployment anniversaries, trauma's echo drowning out confetti. These aren't outliers. They're case studies in birthday depression, a non-clinical blues triggered by reflection on unmet goals or aging's inexorable march. For men, this introspection often amplifies quarter-life or midlife crises. At 30, am I where I should be? At 50, has the grind eclipsed the glory? Gender amplifies the stakes. Societal scripts cast men as stoics, their emotions a private ledger. Pulse Ghana outlined 6 reasons men demur: the pressure to embody practicality over pageantry, a selfless bent toward celebrating others, relentless schedules that render rituals redundant, absent traditions from youth, disinterest in gifts or crowds, and an unease with vulnerability's spotlight. Men don't celebrate birthdays because most of their life isn't about being celebrated. It's about surviving, tweets AI Man's Rule, his post resonating with thousands. He paints a vivid portrait. No applause for dawn workouts or swallowed sorrows, victories savored in silence like debt paid or demons slain. Consider Jordan a composite from Ex-Confessions. A 42-year-old father he posts annually. Another lap around the sun, grateful but let's keep grinding. No pleas for wishes, just resolve. His thread reveals layers. A blue-collar upbringing where birthdays meant hand-me-down tools, not hats. A divorce that soured surprises into suspicions. A therapy epiphany linking his neutrality to avoidant roots. Jordan's normal day is ritual in disguise. A solo hike, journaling goals, reclaiming the milestone on his terms. Yet not all indifference is armor-clad. Some men embody emotional maturity, per psychological profiles. They downplay birthdays from a place of security, valuing privacy and authenticity over performative glee. Ascent Forge captures this. Many men see birthdays as just another day. Some prefer simplicity or focus more on accomplishments than personal milestones. It's independence, not isolation. A refusal to outsource joy to calendars or crowds. Deeper still, cultural currents swirl. In collectivist societies, individual fanfare clashes with communal harmony. In hyper-individualist West, it's exhaustion from constant self-promotion. Add digital fatigue. Social media's birthday deluge, algorithmic reminders, obligatory likes, turns what was intimate into spectacle. One ex-user laments, "I'd never be upset at people not telling me happy birthday, because I do not let that determine how much someone cares." That seems entitled. Anecdotes abound. In a YouTube deep dive, experts dissect 7 truths about men who treat birthdays like normal days, from quiet empowerment to redirected energy toward legacy building. Echoing the betterless. Birthdays, that's a luxury. Men aren't used to receiving. They're used to carrying. These stories humanize the theory, showing how a normal day can be profound, a checkpoint for growth, not grief. But what of the shadows? For some, indifference masks depression. If a man tells you he doesn't want to celebrate, It's because he's not proud of the man he has become. Adamigi adds, I also don't like my birthday because people are generally nice, and I just don't feel I have deserved any of it. Depression and anxiety. Here, psychology intervenes. Cognitive behavioral therapy reframes these narratives, turning unworthy into in progress. Philosophically, Nietzsche's amor fati, love of fate, resonates. Embrace the day as is, unadorned. Existentialists like Camus might nod. Absurdity in marking arbitrary orbits, better to rebel through quiet defiance. In sum, this mindset weaves theory and tale. Avoidant guards, stoic spines, evolutionary echoes. It's not anti-celebration, it's redefinition. Milestones measured in scars, not sparklers. Delving deeper, the implications of birthday neutrality in men ripple far beyond one ignored cake. Psychologically, it's a litmus for self-worth. Healthy versions signal resilience, a high degree of emotional maturity, where age is just a number untethered from validation. But unchecked, it veers into avoidance, where unprocessed blues fester into isolation. Birthday depression, tied to anxiety or unmet life scripts, affects men disproportionately under hustle culture, where progress trumps pause. Relationally, it's fraught. Partners decry neglect. Why are women so concerned about men not wanting to celebrate? Queries a Reddit post surfacing tensions. She craves shared joy. He fears forced festivity. Debates rage. Is this toxic masculinity's relic, suppressing vulnerability? Or empowered choice, bucking performative norms? Feminists argue the former. Men stop celebrating themselves from conditioned self-sacrifice. Positive psych counters. It's high EQ, prizing authenticity over acclaim. Reflect. Does your normal day liberate or limit? Journal. What unmet need hides in the quiet? Broader. In therapy-saturated times, this mindset challenges self-care dogma. Implications for mental health? Encourages tailored rituals, solo reflection over soirees. Societally, it critiques milestone worship, urging cultures of daily dignity. Perspectives clash. Evolutionary determinists see provider wiring, social constructivists, gendered scripts. Ashubvani, don't ask why a man doesn't care, ask what he's been through. Balance. Honor both. Trauma-informed empathy meets agency. Ultimately, reflection yields growth. Embrace your rhythm, lest indifference calcify into regret. In tracing the psychology of the man who treats his birthday like a normal day, we've uncovered a tapestry. Threads of stoic independence, avoidant safeguards, and cultural conditioning weaving a preference for quiet over clamor. Key takeaways. First, this isn't deficit. It's often depth, a self-assured sidestep of superficiality. Second, roots vary. From evolutionary unearned reward aversion to trauma's quiet toll, understanding demystifies. Third, implications urge nuance. In relationships, validate without imposing. In self, probe if neutrality nourishes or numbs. This matters because it reframes masculinity. Not as emotional desert, but discerning oasis. In a confetti-clogged world, choosing normalcy honors inner sovereignty, reminding us joy needn't wait for a date. So, reader, on your next orbit, pause. Cake or coffee? Fanfare or reflection? Whatever calls, claim it unapologetically. Share below. How do you mark or mark not your day? Let's normalize all ways of saying, I am here, and that's enough.